and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Carl, and welcome back if you're a returning visitor or a subscriber. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you did, because it'll help the channel grow. Click the little bell thing as well so you get notified of any uploads as they go up. I'm going to try and do maybe 2 videos a week. All depends on how many kits I've got to review. If I'm just doing builds and I've got no kits that I haven't reviewed, it may be 1 a week. Also, any tools that I enjoy using or anything new that I've bought, I'll try and review that for you as well. Anyway, but the reason we're here is for this kit. It's the Airfix Supermarine Spitfire Mark 1A in 1/48 scale. This is the first 1/48 scale kit I've bought. I really wanted to make the move up from 1/72 because of old man eyes and all that sort of thing. And the reason I wasn't really going for 1/48s was because of cost. At the end of the day, I live on a Navy pension, so I'm sort of limited by that, and the 1/72 scale ones were within my budget and I could build them, buy them and build them. But I did find this, and I found a couple of others that we'll see in the future hopefully, but I found this one, and it was less than $20. So this is actually cheaper than like a few of my 1/72 scale ones that I've got in my little stash at the moment. So I'm really happy with this. I've watched some videos and I'll be watching some more on how the Airfix 1/48 Spitfire is built, so I can get some tips and tricks and see if I can do a reasonable job of it, because there's going to be a lot more detail in this than there is in the 1/72 scale ones. Right, so we've got this nice bit of box art. I do like Airfix box art, it's really nice. On this side here, we've basically got the warning, and hidden, I don't know why they hide it in this corner here, because I love these things, is the cartograph decals. So we know we've got good decals inside this kit. And on the other side, and for some reason it's upside down, don't know why they do that, is the 2 schemes that they say you can build with this kit. The schemes obviously are more down on the decals than anything else. If you can get another set of decals, you can probably build a different scheme, but by the by. So that's that, and it tells you it's 2 flying hours and it's skill level 2. Oops, sorry, move it over a bit. You've got 2 flying hours on this and it's skill level 2. Right, so what we'll do is we'll delve into the box now. It's the lid up, and inside I was slightly naughty, and because I did say, because of having to live on my pension, I can't get any aftermarket stuff. But because the kit was so cheap, like I said, this kit was under $20, and I thought I'd just get some seat belts for it. These were like $8 or under actually, so these were cheap from Edward, and you get 4 seat belts in here, which will, that means I can build 4 kits just with this, so at the minimum I'll be able to put some seat belts into like World War II RAF aircraft, which I'm really happy about. So my one and only little delve into aftermarket at the moment. Right, so that's my little treat. Right, then we move on and we look at what's in the box. I have opened these bags because I tried to record this earlier, and the table, for some reason the table was shaking the camera all over the place, so I'm having to re-record it. But what we've got is we've got our little bag of clear. We've got our one big bag with all the sprues in. As you know, if you've watched any of my videos before, this is sort of like one of my little pet hates about Airfix, is everything goes into one bag, so the sprues can bang about during shipping. Great idea. And also we have in here, we have the user manual, and in the user manual we've got a set of decals. And like I said before, these are cartograph decals, so these are like really good decals, and they're really good, they are good quality, and you can see they're really nice. So what we've got along the top side here, we've got the common decals, which include the instrument panel, the canvas. These are supposed to be sort of like canvas or paper sheets that go over the gun barrels while the aircraft's on the ground. These are put on, that way when the aircraft takes off, you're not going to end up with a load of mud and stones entering the barrels of the guns and jamming them before you even get into a fight. When they get back, if the aircraft's been in an engagement, these will be punched through by the first set of rounds that it fires. You've got the lines that go on the wings, all other little bits and pieces here, and then it's split into two for your versions of the schemes. Yeah, the bottom half here is for the Mark 1, and this whole middle section here is for the Mark 1A. So we've got all that. I really do like Cargraph decals, they go down so well. Right, so I'll just keep that here so it doesn't get damaged. And the next thing we get, another thing I do like about Airfix, their manuals. This is a nice chunky A4 one, and you've seen me, if you've seen my videos before, when I was building the Tamiya measurement 190 ME, yeah, the 190. You saw me complaining about the way they do their manuals. They actually do them so they open right out, and I'm not a fan of that at all. This one here is like a book, it's great. So on the first page, obviously, you get a little bit of history about the submarine Spitfire, and then it just jumps into the manual. I really do love the layout of this. You've got like some assembly instructions up here, you've got some icons down here, so when you look at them in the instructions, you'll know what they're trying to tell you. As usual, we start off with the cockpit, so we've got like half the cockpit tub there, the other half the cockpit tub there. This is unusual from the like 1/72, or not unusual, it's just different from the 1/72 ones that I've built so far, where you attach the cockpit tub to the side of the fuselage. With this, these fuselage walls here are separate from the actual fuselage part of the kit. So what you do is you attach the cockpit tub to these halves of the fuselage, and then as a whole sub assembly you attach it to the actual fuselage sides. But so you've got these, and pretty self-explanatory really. It just tells you which pieces they are, what colour callouts are for each piece, and we go onto the seat. The sides are going onto the seat. Once that's built, then it depends which version you are. So if you're in version A, which is the 1A, when they moved on to the 1As, the war had already started and stuff like that. So what they did was they put armour around the seat to protect the pilot. So from at the back, yeah. So you've got this armour piece here, which you don't have on the Mark 1. Same again here. So you've got two options here for where the seat connects to. So where the headrest is, it's an armoured headrest here, and on the Mark 1 you don't get that. Then you just connect them together. Obviously, this is the Mark 1 and this is Mark 1A, so the seat's got the armoured back, connects to this piece with the armoured headrest. So you know. Then we move on again, and all dependent on whether you are going to put the pilot in. I'm undecided as yet, because the thing what I wanted was the door open with the canopy back, and it might look a bit odd if I've got the pilot in there. But your decision then, when you decide whether you're going to have the pilot or not, depends where you're going to put the rudder pedals in. Because with the pilot in, or with the rudder pedals in, you can't get the pilot in. So you need to make that decision pretty early on, yeah? So if you build this section, you can't have the pilot in because he will not fit. And then we move on, and we have the instrument panel. And the instrument panel is built up and then attached to that piece of the wall that is going to attach the fuselage later on. And it just goes through it, building up the cockpit, all sub-assembly for this cockpit. Fairly straightforward. This is the one about the pilot, yeah, keep an eye on that. If you've already installed the rudder pedals, you won't be able to fit him in, so make sure you make that decision early on and stick to it. Right, the next thing there is whether you're going to have the door open. This is obviously the size of the fuselage. There's a tub that's going to get attached in, but obviously you've got to make the decision here where you're going to have the actual door open on the cockpit. So this will tell you, you need to cut it out. There it is there again. So basically what you're going to do is install the cockpit tub into the fuselage, and then close up the fuselage and add the panel on front that sits in front of the pilot, which covers the actual instrument panel and everything else. Really straightforward instructions. I do like Airfix instructions. And here as well, another little thing that on the 148s that I like is you can open panels up to view more detail inside. So I might do this for one of the wings, yeah, because all these question marks are you going to display what's within the wings themselves. In here it'll be the guns, so you can open up both sides if you want and display all the guns. Yeah, I'm not sure what these open up for. This probably might be to see the guns from underneath. It just says option 1 for open gun bays, cut the access panels shown here and fit the gun breeches shown in steps 26 to 38. To leave the gun bays covered, do not cut out the access panels and miss out steps 26 to 28. So obviously steps 26 to 38 are all assembly of the guns and fitting the guns within here. Yeah, if you're just closing up the wings, you're not going to put the guns in. Right then, also here shows you how you're putting in where the landing gear goes, and here drill the hole if you're going to put it on the stand. Then we go on to, if wheels are down, yeah, you would start assembling parts of the landing gear. This strut here, hopefully this is going to strengthen it and help sort out the dihedral, because you've got a few struts here that need to go on. Okay, let's try easy. This is what I understand, don't forget my noob. Right, these are the guns, the assembly for the guns. This page basically is only if you're going to have the panels missing, opened on the top, on the wings. So you can do one or, you know, so you can just pick which wing you want and have one wing. Or you can have them both open. Right, then you close up the two wing pieces according to this. I'm not sure if it was this model or another model that I was looking at. I think it might have been another one that mentioned it's better to put the top wings onto the fuselage first before you put the bottom half of the wing on, because they don't close up properly otherwise. I watched a few more videos. I don't think it is a Spitfire. Right, I don't know what they're saying here. Well, this is obviously panels open with the guns in. Yeah, yeah. So this is, if you've got the panels closed, just clunk it together. If you've got the panels open, these will be all opened up, and then you'll have your guns in here. Right, very nice. Then you add the fuselage to the wings. Then you start building the horizontal stabilizers and the tail section. All very simple. Then it's the chin, air intake for the engine. See, I don't know what this one's for. I think this is for the air intake for the engine, but I'm unsure what this is. I'll have to research that. If anybody knows, just put it in the comments for me, please, because the more information I get, the more I can be more informative when I actually do more videos. Yeah. So if you know, I'll have a look around and find out what it is. But if you do know, please put it in the comments. That'll help. Oh, you can actually, so you can have flap open or flap closed in the open position or the closed position. This is why I want to know what this is. Tailway goes on. Then more of the undercarriage. So this is the undercarriage up, all this part. This is the undercarriage down. Very nice. Exhausts for the engine. Assembling the propeller with the spinner, the propeller and everything else yet. Putting the gun sight on, then putting the canopy on. They're both the same, Mark 1 and Mark 1A, but you've got a choice of open or closed canopy, so it's up to you what you prefer to do. So it's obviously a different bit of glass if you're having closed canopies than if you've got an open canopy. Then we move on. There's some more bits and pieces to do, depends on whether you're closing up. You add these if you've actually opened up these panels. Same here, you drop these on somewhere around to make it look as if they've been worked on if you've opened up the panels for the guns. Then you're adding the antenna, and this also is version specific. The fatter antenna is for the 1A and the slimmer antenna is for the scale, is for the 1. So basically that's the build there, and then he moves on to your colour schemes, which I think I'm going to do the 1A. So, and this was flown by Sergeant Arthur William Peter Spears, number 222 Squadron, Royal Air Force Hornchurch, Essex in England on August 30th, 1940. So basically this is the early stages of the war, you know, and it's the usual, the scheme that I sort of recognise the most. So it gives you all, obviously it gives you all the decal call-outs and the colour call-outs for this scheme. Then we move on to the actual Mark 1, which was an earlier version, and same again, this is number 611 West Lancashire Squadron, Royal Air Force, Duxford, Cambridgeshire, England, autumn 1939. So this is sort of like pre-war, early war, and they have the. Nice. I think these were done as identification from the ground, so people can spot like Allied aircraft. One wing would be black, one wing would be white, and so, and I think that's it. I think that was it. If anybody knows why they had one black wing and one white wing, please let me know in the comments. But I do believe it was for people on the ground to be able to identify Allied aircraft, so ACAC didn't shoot them down. Now you've got aluminium here, black one wing, white the other wing. Very similar colour scheme. Decals will be different. This roundel is different from the one on the Mark 1A, and these roundels are different than the one on the Mark A. The Mark 1A had like sort of bigger roundels, but again you've got the call out here for all the decals and everything. But yeah, I think for me I'm going to go for the 1A, possibly. Ooh. Make a decision for me. Right, which one would you like to see me build? Is a good question. Put that in the comments as well. If you prefer me, if you want me to do the Mark 1, I'll do the Mark 1. If you want me to do the 1A, I'll do the 1A. Because I've already done like a Mark 2, so which is basically the same, you know, is very similar if not the same scheme as this. So it'd be nice to have something that I haven't done before. But I'll let you guys make that decision. Let me know, do you want the Mark 1 or the Mark 1A? Right, I'll close that and I'll protect the decals. Then we're going to move on to the sprues. Right, do the big sprue bag first. Then we'll do the glass. Right, in here, all the sprues. I think there's 5. Right, so we've got sprue 1, or sprue A, sprue B. I think sprue C is the biggie at the back. But anyway, so what we'll start off with this one. I'll put that just there. I'm going to need my glasses for this because all man eyes, I won't be able to see the details. Right, so what we've got here, the 2 halves of the fuselage, and we've got the spinner. So, but the actual detail on here, you've got some nice, you know, you have got nice panel lines on here, fasteners as well. So you've got race fasteners on here. I quite like the detail, yeah, on this, and then you've got the spinner there. So yeah, it's not too bad at all. And I think this is the port side. Ah, right, okay. But I think this is the piece on the port side that you need to cut away if you want the door open. Right, and then you go on to the other side and you've got the internals here. Really, yeah, that's the door, I think. Oh, I don't know, you know, which one's that? That's starboard. I don't know, is there another question. Did you have a choice of which side of the aircraft you get in and out of? Because these look as if you've got, because it looks like there's a handle there, but not here, but the framework's there. So this could be interesting. That's a starboard side, and that's a port side. Right, if you know if it's like side specific, yeah, just let me know before I start, because I don't want to start hacking this thing to pieces, because I do want the door open. I don't want to hack the one part away. Right, the other thing is, how much is this? There's a nice raised bloody ejector pin mark there, and that's quite a deep one as well. When we come to dry fitting, I'm going to obviously try and dry fit these first and see if any of these ejector pin marks are visible when I put the actual whole cockpit assembly in here. But I am liking it, you know. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Is that a bit of flash there? I think so. Right, so that's sprue A. You go down there. Right, sprue B. Now, these are the 2 cockpit walls, basically, and they've got a nice, yeah, I've got a nice bit of detail in there. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that actually. Yeah. Also, I'm going to do a bit of research. See, there's a little dent there as well. I want to see how much of this, how much of those ejector pin marks that this covers up. There's an ejector pin mark there, I can see right through it. So is that on the other side? I may have to deal with these. See, because that's really deep. And you can actually, I can actually see it from this side, so I may have to deal with that. And this one as well. But I am pleased with the detail there. Right, here, the armoured part of the seat. Instrument panel. There for landing gear. another, yeah, that's part of the seating area. You've got undercarriage, part of the nose, horizontal stabilizers, that's the door, and there's your rudder. Okay, that's part of the spinner, isn't it? Isn't that part of the propeller? This is another thing. Airfix, try and put stuff that's relevant to other stuff on the same sprue, please. Right, and also here you've got the aerials. So you've got the Mark 1A and the Mark 1. Right, sprue B. Right then, now we jump to sprue H. Right, this is basically the two wings. Okay, so obviously this is the lower half. It's quite a nice bit of detail in there. Can't remember which panel it was. One of these. You've got to decide whether to have a panel open or not. On here, you can see the 8 panels for guns. Whether you can open all 8 or not, I remember I only saw 6 that they had that you could open. And looking at this, you can only the bit you cut out, yeah, where it seems to be thin here, which I like that. That is a nice. See, I never would have thought of that. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you? But right, these two guns on the outer edge, you can't build or see, so they're permanently closed. But just looking at this, I've just seen the light. I don't know if you can see through. Right, if you can have these panels off, what Airfix have done, which is, I love that idea, is they actually thinned it so that if you have the actual panel off, the wing doesn't look too thick. I do like that. And there's the undercarriage pieces, more undercarriage stuff here. Yeah, I do like that inclusion. I'm not a fan of the ejector pin mark though. I'm not sure if that ejector pin mark, it won't be that. I doubt if it will be visible, but I'm on about how that was one that goes in, so it may need a bit of filling because what I don't want to do is make it too weak. If you have hot paint, it might even do some damage. But that's a raised one and that's a recessed one, and that's not all that nice, is it? It looks a bit rough and ready there. But anyway, and again there. Anyway, we can deal with that when it comes to it. So, advice on building this kit: definitely need it. I definitely need it. So I want to try and do a really nice job of this. I'm pleased with what I'm seeing so far though. Okay, next sprue. Right, we're going to go on to sprue G, I think it is. Sprue G, yes. And, right, different noses. So I presume there's a different nose depending on the version. Flaps. There's an alternative interior for cockpit. There's a chin. We've got 2 propellers, 2 blade 1, 3 blade 1, I presume, Mark 1, Mark 1A, I presume. We've got other little fittings. We've got the spinner, backing plate, and on here we've got the guns. Yeah, so it gives you option 6 guns. It's like a handbrake thing, isn't it? I don't know. I think that's version specific as well. These are spars that go on into the wings. Right, lots of other bits and pieces. So it's building the guns up. And these are the panels for the wing. If you remove the panels in the wing, if you get my drift, so you can lay these on top of the wing. Okay, very similar. But obviously these are definitely version specific because they are slightly different. And this as well, depending on the version you're doing. See, the power work's amazing there. Oh, I'm going to need a tiny brush to do that. Yeah, I am happy with what I'm seeing. You know, it's like, I'm not a fan of that dent there, but you won't see that because the fuselage covers that. When you put it in, the actual fuselage will cover that little dent there. Right, okay. So that's sprue G. Yeah, nice fasteners on this chin as well. Panel lines, Might be a little bit soft, that panel line. But the chin, yeah, I like the race fasteners on there. Yeah, nice detail. Right then, now we've gone to the final sprue, which is sprue C. I've just had to re-record this bit because I ran out of recording time. So anyway, we're on to sprue C. So what we've got here is all the rest of the bits and pieces. We've got the pilot here. Detail on this is pretty, ain't too bad. I've seen people sort of complain about the detail on the pilots on some versions of the 148 scale Spitfires, but this wasn't too bad. And I was considering whether to do a pilot or not, but the thing that's I'm very unsure about is how weird it'll look having a pilot in the cockpit with the door open, the canopy back, or the canopy open, yeah. And it's not so much that, it's more the fact that having the guns exposed and the panels on the wings while the pilot's sat in the aircraft, that's the one thing that's probably going to make me not use the pilot at all. Anyway, if you think it isn't going to look too weird, just let me know whether you want me to do the pilot or not, because I haven't actually done a pilot. I never attempted it in the 1/72 scale because of old man eyes, but I was considering it in the 148 scale. Anyway, what we've got on here then is we've got spinner, backing plate, oxygen tank, gubbins that go inside, a couple of the spars that go under the wings, another propeller, 3-bladed propeller, and I'm not sure why there's 2 because they look pretty much exactly the same. We've got the pilot's seat, armoured headrest, the armoured plating that's behind the seat. We've got 2 versions of exhausts, one flared and one not so flared. You can't really see, but these are more flared than the others, so obviously they're version specific. Some more of the landing gear struts, the support behind the seat, and with the support behind the seat what I'm going to do is drill out all these holes if I do the 1A. There's some grills here, nice texture on them. Overall, yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the actual texture that you get with this kit. I mean, it's probably not as high level as some, but to me it's very, very nice. The wheels I like, yeah, there's 2 here which are for raised undercarriage, 2 here though when you've got like lowered undercarriage. And the good thing about the lowered undercarriage ones is the actual hubs are separate, so you can paint the hubs separately, then insert them into the wheels before you attach them to the aircraft. So all in all, yeah, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. So that's the last sprue. I'll put them away. So I like to look after my stuff, and it's probably the OCD in me that makes me want to put everything back in the bags before I actually stop videoing. And I'm going to fight with this, aren't I? Right, that goes back in there, that goes back in there, like so, and panel C goes back into its usual place at the bottom of the pack, or at the top of the pack here, because otherwise I'll be rubbing it against all the other sprues. Right, so that's done. That goes into there. Bottom of the box, so we've got our headwell seat belts, the glass, which we're going to have a look at actually, and also got the instructions. See, I can't remember from the first part of the episode where we've done the glass. So we'll have a quick look at the glass. This is the perks of not being looking at how long you're recording for. Right, here's the glass. It looks okay. One thing I have spotted when I could look earlier is a dirty great scratch on this piece. Now I don't know if I'm going to need that piece. I'd like to have the canopy open, so hopefully it's going to be one of these 2 pieces with that and one of the front ones. But they don't look too bad. I mean, you can see a lot of distortion when you look through them, but it could be just because they're so rounded. I don't know what it's like in real life. If you see them side on, actually, they are fairly clear. Yeah, but actually there's no flash on them. like there was on my Harrier. If you see my inbox review of that, I was gutted. Right, so that's that done. So the glass actually looks okay for me, so I'm happy with that. So we put him away, keep him safe, because I don't want him getting beat up. There's already one scratch, which wasn't me. Right, so now there's our box for our stuff in, ready to go. And the lid goes back on. So basically, that's the Airfix Supermarine Spitfire Mark 1A in 1/48 scale. Cheapest chips. It was under $20, which allowed me to get the seat belts from Edward and still keep it at a reasonable price. All in all, including the aftermarket seat belts, it was still cheaper than at least one of the 1/72 scale kits I bought. So that's that. Right, I hope you enjoyed the video of this, and if you've got any comments, please leave them, and I'll answer them as quick as I can, which is near enough, you know, within an hour I would have thought. Easy, because I'm usually on there having a look. Don't forget to like as well, because it always helps the algorithm. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing as well, yeah, because I want this channel to grow. I'll be hoping to do like videos 2 a week, hopefully, depending on how many models I've got. I think I've got enough builds to do, which will keep me going for quite a long time. But it's more like inbox reviews and stuff, yeah. I've only got a tiny stash, as they say. So I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, don't forget to comment, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.